What's up, guys? I'm Mr. Highway 98, and today I'm back with another CD review. And today's review will be the Devil Wears Prada's Transit Blues. So Transit Blues is the sixth studio album by the Devil Wears Prada, and it was released on October 7th, 2016. And it's the first album without Daniel Williams playing the drums. And on this album, they actually had Giuseppe Capilupo, who was playing the drums on this album. And on this album, we see the band taking a different direction with the sound. You know, they're keeping to that metalcore sound, and they're keeping the sound that they've had for years, but we also see them taking a different approach to it. And to some people, it's not really that great of a sound. To me personally, you know, this isn't personally not one of my favorite albums from them. You know, there's only a few songs on this album that I actually enjoy. But, you know, I mean, you know, bands, you know, they like to change their sound, and, you know, I don't hate the album. I don't think it's terrible. Like, I don't not listen to it, you know. It's just not as good as what they've released in the past, in my opinion. If you think it's better, then of course, you know, keep that opinion, you know. If you like it more than their old stuff, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Just me personally, it's just not my favorite thing from them. So let's go ahead and just talk about some of the songs on this album. You know, we hear that opening track, Praise Poison, which is a song that kind of, you know, keeps to that sound that they've kept all these years, and that is one of my favorite songs on the album. You know, it's the perfect opening song, and it's just, you know, it's heavy, and you know, we get some great vocals from Mike Hranica, and you know, we just you know, we see a lot of good stuff on that song. And then we move on to the song number 2, which is Daughter, which was the first single we got from the album. And this song is also, you know, one of those songs that I actually really enjoy. And that song, you know, kind of, it also keeps to that metalcore sound that they've had all these years. You know, and that breakdown at the end is very, very good. I really like it. And like I said, you know, like we get that sound, that original sound that they've had for all these years. And then we move on to the song Worldwide, which is one of those songs that I just don't really care for. It's really not one of their best songs at all. I don't know. And that's the problem that I see with this album, is that a lot of these songs just kind of feel like they're just filler tracks. And it just kind of seems like the album was just rushed, you know? And like I said, this is just my opinion, but it just feels so rushed. It doesn't really feel like they took time to just kind of sit down and like write an album. It just kind of seems like they just kind of were like, yeah, let's just make this. We don't really, it's not that they didn't care, but that's just, you know, it just feels that way on some of these songs. You know, and like I said, Worldwide is one of those songs I didn't really care for too much, and same with Detroit Tapes. That song, I think I've only listened to it like twice since I've listened to the full album, and it just doesn't really sit with me. You know, I don't really care for it at all. And that's the same way with Flyover States as well. That song is just not really one of those that I really care about too much either. But you know, there are some good shining moments on this album. Perfect example of that is song number 8, which is To the Key of Evergreen. You know, that song being the longest song on the album, just pushing a little over 5 minutes. And you know, that song, we see we see a little bit of the Space EP antics that they had on this song. You know, not saying that they like made it exactly like the Space EP, but we see some of those elements from that EP into this song. And then we also have the song Submersion, which again is another one of my favorite songs. You know, it also just kind of keeps to that sound that they've always had. And you know, we get some great clean vocals from Jeremy DePoister, who is the rhythm guitarist and the clean singer. And you know, just an overall really good song. And then there's Home for Grave Part 2, which, again, you know, I do think it's an okay song, but I don't really see like the point of making a sequel to that song, you know, and especially like the vocals. Not that they're bad or anything, but it's not something you would expect from the Devil Wears Prada. You know, like, I mean, obviously, you know, Mike was just like kind of experimenting with that, and those are kind of the vocals that he has in his side project band. For those of you who haven't heard, he does have a side project, and those are kind of the vocals that he does for that. But overall, you know, it's an okay song, you know, not really one of my favorites again, but I do come back to it every now and then. And then the closer song on this album is Transit Blues, the title track, and that song is definitely one of my favorites, probably my favorite, actually. You know, that opening drum part with Giuseppe and all the guitar and the guitarist, you know, that part is just super awesome. I really like it. And again, we get a great vocal performance from Mike on this song as well. And so, you know, those are kind of my favorite songs on the album and kind of the ones that I don't really care for too much. And another thing that I've kind of noticed on this album is that Mike doesn't really do any low screaming. He does kind of like in the background, you can kind of hear it, but he doesn't really like, you know, there's not really like a certain part of a song where he's just doing low screaming the whole time. Really the only part of a song that is like that is on to the Key of Evergreen. And not that it's like, you know, it's not a bad thing that he's not doing that. It's just like, you know, he has one of the greatest low screams that I've ever heard, and you know, it just kind of sucked to hear that he wasn't doing it. And like, you know, maybe he just isn't able to do it anymore. Like, you know, they've been a band for 11 years, so, you know, once you've been doing that for so long, you know, it starts to take a toll on your voice. So, I mean, that's just my opinion on it. You never know. Anyways, guys, that is my review today. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to like, leave a comment, and keep a request in there. If you have any requests, feel free to put them in the comments below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys with the next video. See you guys later. So Transit Blues is the 6th studio album by the Devil Wears Prada, and it was released on October 7th. What the fuck is wrong with me?